you were talking about policy and putting things and getting things passed. What is the process of doing those type of those endeavors? It may be a loaded question, but
I was going to say, no, that's just a whole other, that's a whole other hour. I got slides on that one. I've worked really hard to cram that down into like a 1 hour slideshow kind of presentation about how to do that in Kentucky and the different paths to do that. But all it really takes is a small group of people that will be obsessed with it, and if you can get that, it's that quote, the Margaret Mead quote. It really is just a small group of people who are willing to put their time and attention into making it happen. And it does take a little bit of the stars aligning, and it does take a little bit of, enough political savvy to make a good plan and power map and find the right person to champion it, and then also work in it. Because even if you get a bill, even if you have a bill, a good bill, and you've got 95 members of the 100 of the House who put in writing, they'll vote yes on it. That doesn't mean it becomes a law. It doesn't mean it passes the House. That happens every session. It doesn't even pass the House. Even with 95 people swearing up and down and saying publicly they'll vote yes on it. Doesn't pass. Because if the 5 that don't want to do that include, say, the floor leader who calls the bills to the floor, is never getting called to the floor. So they never get to vote on it. So you did all that work. You could have been busting your ass for years, and it's never going to get called to the floor. So it's never going to even pass the House, much less become law. So you have to have a strategy to get the right people and the right kind of combination to want it, and to work within that, to work the bill, to make it become a law. Because there are, 10,000 ways to kill a bill, maybe 1 million, but there's only one for it to become law.
Gotcha.
But I am happy anytime. I will do any level of advocacy one-on-one, how to do administrative advocacy. There's opportunities all the time, how to do legislative advocacy, any of that. I'm always willing to help people with what I know about that, handhold, encourage, pick something, train, whatever, because there's no better use of my time than that, because I know how to do it. And we don't have to have the charity if we do that, and we change the laws.
Absolutely.
And we implement them, and we demand that it works, and we demand that it look the way it was supposed to, the way it was intended, that it does justice.
Right. And hold people accountable when any of that goes right, or when it falls apart. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. That's what the courts are supposed to be for, but we may have lost that. So now we just have to learn. So that's what the courts are supposed to be for, but we may have lost that, because we may have lost our court system for now, or maybe a generation. I don't know, but it's corrupted right now on a level that's hard to dig out of.
If I know this could bring out a whole nother hour, but can you at least touch on some of the corruption that's going on in the court system right now? Because unfortunately, I've had to have dealings with the court system, whether it be from a parking ticket to troopers that lie, et cetera, et cetera.
They lie. Cops lie. Hey, CJ, cops are constitutionally allowed to lie. It's called low-level trickery.
Hey, listen up, folks. Listen up, folks.
Their lies are constitutionally protected. Now, yours and mine aren't. I mean, I can get in a whole lot of trouble if I lie. Lawyers lie. Lawyers usually really smart lie, so they just really omit and carefully shape, but it's still kind of a lie. And to a normal person, it's still a lie, but it's not like a legal lie, which is also trickery, but that's also legal. But cops are straight up allowed to lie. The legal standard, the constitutional standard, is called low-level trickery. They can tell you they have proof and evidence that they don't have. That's fine. They're allowed to do that. And so
it's like, what are we supposed to do? It feels like, and honestly, the young men that I mentored, even the ones my age that we have conversations, the elders that just try to speak, hey, just, take this because this could lead to other detriment. What are we supposed to do when
the whole system's broken, CJ? You cannot win in it.
We cannot win.
You cannot ask me how you can win in a broken system where it's not possible for you to win, because my answer is it's not possible.
It's not possible to win.
It's not possible.
So my goodness.
I have a justice committed justice doer. I have a law license because I thought I needed to add that tool to my toolbox, and that reason that people go to law school, but we are all so wrong. That's not what it does at all. It just takes away your ability to be a real person, and it takes away your ability to, it just takes away. It does not add anything.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you brought up a point. Once again, it feels like
sorry, I'm such a Debbie Downer, but there is no.
This is a
reality is what it is.
Open and honest.
Yeah.
I was speaking, one of the conversations I've had, they were telling me there was a difference between when you face in a court or municipal court, state court, to where either you're looked at as a corporation or as a real individual or real person. Are you in reference to what I'm saying, or am I totally off? So, with that said, there's so many different things with the court that I had to learn on my own. I feel like I should be compensated for like learning laws as a lawyer or something.
Yeah.
As I know, it's definitely a stringent process, and I give accolades and salute to any attorneys, any lawyers that go through that process, barring everything else. But I've had many conversations. You remember when I was telling you about 2019, where I was literally going east and west, north and south?
Yeah.
I spoke with people that were homeless all the way to, those that were making moves in their particular sector, life-changing. And many of the conversations, I was like, so what about the judicial system? And it was like, look, only thing we can tell you is just learn your laws, learn your rights, and not only just
that won't
rights,
help you.
The
laws are unjust.
It still won't.
That's bad advice, because the laws are not just, and so it doesn't matter if you know them. And cops are allowed to lie, so it doesn't matter if you know them. And prosecutors have way too much unchecked power, so it doesn't matter. So,
there may be situations where we're like, look, we don't have an answer, or there may not be silence based on the information, but literally, what are we supposed to do?
Elect prosecutors like the one in Philadelphia. Elect sheriffs like the woman in New Orleans who was just elected, and only 50,000 people voted. I mean, New Orleans is like a 400,000 plus person city, and 50,000 people voted, y'all. Like nobody. Yeah. But they turned out people to vote for her, and I trust and believe that she will behave differently, and maybe cops will stop murdering people left and right, especially Black men. Maybe. So I can't guarantee it, but I do see the difference in who we're putting in jail. That Philadelphia prosecutor, when he was elected, so our prosecutors, they got no checks on them except the ballot box. That's it. Wow. They can do whatever they want. They have total discretion. They don't have to prosecute anybody. I could, walk up and murder somebody right in front of the prosecutor and 16 police officers. They don't have to charge me. They don't have to prosecute me. Or they can choose to based on nothing. So they have total prosecutorial discretion. They have the capacity to do by far the most justice, but they typically instantly are by far the most anti-justice doers, because they are rewarded for succeeding, which means incarcerating people.
Right. So their
the incentive is very
measurements. Yeah. Well. So what they are measured on is not right, but who's going to change it? Because they would probably have to be the ones to change it, and they're not
going to change it.
Yeah,
they're going to change it.
Let me ask you.
You can change who the prosecutor is, which is what they've done in Philadelphia. And so now that prosecutor says, we're not putting people in jail over this, just not doing it. Zero. Don't care what the facts are. They're not going to jail for any of these things. And that same prosecutor says, when you go in to say you are going to charge someone, you have to say how much it will cost to incarcerate them and why what they did justifies that. So, but that's the only prosecutor in the country who's doing that. But, but we could pass a law to say they all have to. They all have to do a table of the pros and cons, and they all have to say why spending that $30,000 a year in Kentucky. Y'all think about it. It costs more to incarcerate someone in Kentucky than it does to pay for them to go to college, including their living expenses if they're at a state school. So in what universe are we bettering our community in a better way by isolating them and dehumanizing them, exposing them to other people who are in absolute crisis and at their worst place in life, versus enriching them in a community with people who are looking to a more positive future and understanding things more?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Nothing ever was handed, all about respect, never about ego. Wish I could have retired a long time ago and disappeared way beyond the trees. But my homies kept influencing me, said they needed to hear my lyrics, like my flow, cause they felt my spirit. Plus the people needed to hear it, a conversation with conscientious lyrics.